Okay, so there's stuff that like I'm backlogged on, like that I bought weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to do a video yet. So I bought this like a couple of weeks ago, and I still hadn't had a chance to do anything with it yet. And this is Black Adam and Hawkman from the Black Adam movie. These are 12-inch figures, only at Target, and apparently it's the Hawkman figure that's an exclusive. Now I know that they do have a single carded Hawkman figure, and I'm guessing the difference is the wings, because you can see how much of the package the wings take up. And this was a little bit more expensive than buying, two of these 12-inch figures. Usually these 12-inch figures are about $10 a piece, and I think this set cost me like 25. So if you think about like a deluxe figure, one that's larger than they usually are, Hawkman would probably qualify here. That's probably what's making this set cost as much as it does. Have a look at the packaging real quick. I like the design of the packaging for the Black Adam figures. It looks fairly classy. Got a picture of Dwayne Johnson there in character. Got some cross-sell artwork of the figures. Got The Rock over here again. And then on the inside, we can see there's the Shazam lightning bolt and some lightning around it, like some electricity. And of course, The Rock is the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. So it does make sense that he'd have a lightning bolt when he becomes a superhero, super villain, however you want to look at it. I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie, but definitely in the comic book, Black Adam started out as a superhero and then became more of a super villain when he was corrupted by power and took over his whole country, and then eventually became one of the arch enemies of Captain Marvel, Shazam. To me, always be Captain Marvel. And then eventually joined the Justice Society and became more of an anti-hero and kind of started on a path to redemption. And I think that's probably where they're going with in this movie, since the Justice Society are going to be in it. And they're like one of my favorite superhero teams, and I consider them the greatest superhero team. So I'm happy to see the Justice Society in the movie. So let's go ahead and cut through a whole bunch of rubber bands. There are a whole bunch of rubber bands on here. Thankfully, they share one in the middle here, so that's one less I have to cut. Yeah, it's also not attached to the box at all because Hawkman's wings are in the way. So, and then there's a couple more down here on Hawkman's knees. I got those. So, is there anything else holding in here? There's one more around its neck. It's racist. All right, so are we out now? Okay, yeah. So let's look at Hawkman first, since I got him out of the package. And like I said, I figure Hawkman is the main selling point of this. And these wings are awesome. Look how far they open up. Like, that's not even... I gotta put it all the way back here so you can see his full wingspan on the camera. And that's gotta be, like, a good 2 feet of wingspan that he's got there. So if all the money that was extra... You can kind of flap the wings around. That's pretty cool. I'd be careful with it, though. I don't want to break them. So this movie Hawkman design, they did put a breastplate on him rather than having him shirtless. And for whatever reason, they decided to make his harness kind of asymmetrical, whereas in the old one, it was just kind of an X across his chest like He-Man. I think I would have preferred that. And I would have preferred his pants be green instead of red. That just seems like such an arbitrary change to me. But he's still like a pretty awesome looking character and a good interpretation of Hawkman. And I like this kind of blade they got there, so that gives him an extra weapon. He apparently does not have his mace, which kind of disappoints me because that's kind of the, the iconic traditional Hawkman weapon. And I would definitely want him to have the mace. But thankfully these days I got a 3D printer, so I ain't got to worry about it. So articulation-wise, his head goes back and forth, and it goes up and down slightly. Not as well as I would want. He does have a really cool helmet. Looks a lot like the comic book helmet, and has a lot of cool detail to it. He's got a beard, which Hawkman did not have a beard in the comic book, but whatever, it still looks pretty cool. Breastplate, I kind of wish that maybe they'd made that gold or something, or some more interesting color than just this gray. The belt looks pretty cool. It doesn't have a buckle on it. He's got like this little handle here. It doesn't seem to be removable, but it does kind of wobble back and forth. I'm guessing, and I haven't seen the movie yet, I'm guessing that's his mace, and that's where he keeps it when he's not using it. It's probably some kind of magic mace that expands. His arms go all the way around, and they go up about this far. They don't go up all the way because the armor kind of gets in the way. This arm does not go all the way around because of, again, this shoulder armor. And then the elbows bend at about 90 degrees, and it looks like they swivel all the way around, but because of the way they're jointed, like, they don't joint backwards at 90 degrees, but who wants to have their arm twisted like that anyway? Legs go up not quite 90 degrees, about that far, and the knees go about 90 degrees, and then you can do the splits, no problem. There we go. So that's pretty much it for the articulation. Red pants, gold boots. Again, the painting detail is usually pretty simple on these 12-inch figures. They're not really made to be expensive collector's items. These are for kids, so they're supposed to be cheap playthings. And I like that aspect about them. I like toys that seem like toys. That's always fun to me. So, but it's a really good Hawkman figure. Hawkman's been one of my favorite characters in the comics for a very long time. I'm glad to finally have a 12-inch figure of Hawkman at all, even if his pants are the wrong color. So, I know some people had, complained about him being a black guy, but I don't really care about that. He's Hawkman. He regenerates. He reincarnates. So, at some point Hawkman was going to be a black guy. They would have to reincarnate into a black guy at some point, right? That makes sense. So, I just hope the actor does a good job with him. He's not an actor I'm, overly familiar with, but I've heard good things about him. He was on some kind of TV show, and apparently people, when he was on that show, people were saying he should play some kind of superhero character. Well, here you go. He's Hawkman. So, I'm probably going to 3D print him a mace so that he can have that weapon. And other than that, I'm pretty happy with how Hawkman turned out. So let's go, now that we've gotten Hawkman out of the way, we can talk about the titular character of this film, Black Adam. So let's go ahead and get him out of the package. We've got one more to split. There we go. I didn't have to try that one. But man, are those things annoying. So, usually when I had the Spin Master 12-inch figures, they're capes with that Christmas ribbon kind of material like the figures have that I don't really like. But this one is actually more of a soft, kind of, almost like a polyester jersey kind of material. These are more like the kind of fabric that, it's closer to the Superpowers kind of fabric, but it's not that exactly. Oddly enough, I was planning on cutting the cape off of this guy, because I usually prefer for Black Adam to not have a cape. I know he has one in the comics sometimes, but I'm old school. I think about him in the Golden Age appearances where he definitely did not have a cape. So, the elbows are really stiff, and since they're like the harder plastic, I don't know if a hairdryer would help. So I'm just being really gentle, and so the elbows are articulated, but just be really gentle that first time you do them. They kind of ratchet, and then he's got about a 90-degree bend to the elbow, like you would expect. The wrists swivel all the way around. They do on Hawkman. I forgot to mention that too. He's got wrist articulation. This hand is a bare hand, and this hand has kind of a hand wrap kind of glove on it, which the McFarlane figure had the hand wraps on both hands, so maybe he's got both of them at some point. Arms go all the way around. Again, that joint's kind of stiff. They go up about that far. Elbows go all the way around. Head swivels back and forth. Tilts up and down slightly, but not as well as you would like. Excellent likeness of Dwayne Johnson. His ears do seem a little bit pointier. I know a lot of people have been complaining that he doesn't have the pointy ears in the movie, but it looks like the action figure people gave him at least a little bit of a point to his ears. So that's nice. But it's a great likeness. He does have a little bit of the people's eyebrow going on. I can't really do it. There's a lot of cool detail to this figure as far as like there's these kind of like they're not hieroglyphics, but kind of like some kind of ancient language, ancient writing sculpted into his costume. So that's kind of interesting. I like the coloration of it a lot because it's kind of like this dark, but still very vibrant bronze color. Like I kind of figure like for Shazam, Captain Marvel, he could have like the gold color, and Black Adam could have the darker sort of color to it. He doesn't have that sort of tarnish on his lightning bolt, kind of like the McFarlane figure didn't have that kind of tarnish on his lightning bolt. But it does look pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with him. So like this is a good Black Adam figure. The costume is close enough to the old school comic book costume that I feel like I could stand him with comic book characters. He doesn't have the widow's peak because he's bald, like The Rock is bald, but I don't mind that so much. So yeah, I got this at Target. You might still be able to find them there, even though I got these like a couple of weeks ago. They're really nice figures, and they're definitely worth picking up, so I would highly recommend them. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave all the comments you want down below. He still doesn't have a belt buckle. I might have to make him a belt buckle. It's bothering me. I'm going to repaint his pants to green. But yeah, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think of these figures. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. My hands are full, so this is kind of awkward.